So welcome everyone, thanks for coming out. We've obviously got an amazing audience. We've got a full house, people standing at the back, so we really appreciate that, and hopefully we'll give you some food for thought in this second panel. So my name is Benjamin Bryant. I run Bryant Media Group with video and creative production agency for tourism, travel and leisure. When you kind of plan a panel and you have like dream panelists in mind for a video chat like this, I was thinking we could get someone from YouTube, Google to give the kind of overall picture. We could have someone from the dynamic TikTok that's kind of taking a lot of audience and market share and is kind of pushing short form video. And then we could get someone with some really in-depth travel and tourism and hospitality experience to give us the overview about how video and social media applies to tourism and travel brands. And I'm pleased to say that's pretty much the description of the panelists on stage here. So first off, I'll just introduce Dan Gordon from Google, Strategic Agency Manager. We have Alexandra Delf over there from MMGY Grifco, so PR specialists in hospitality and tourism and travel. And we've got Paula Dobano from TikTok, so head of live creators for the UK at TikTok. So that's the panel. I'm going to jump straight into it. So we're talking about boosting your SEO and social media presence with video. So first off, I'm going to go to Dan to give us a sort of overview of how you at Google and YouTube see the video landscape currently, how it's evolved maybe in the last 2 or 3 years, and what you think the future might hold, especially with sort of travel and tourism in mind.
Absolutely. And thanks for having me on the panel today. I think initially there's maybe 2 or 3 real key changes that I've seen in the travel space in video in particular over the last 2 or 3 years. One's more general industry-wide, and that's probably what we look at in terms of the creation of short form. So I won't speak too much to it as we have the TikTok's absolute premier specialist here who can do it more justice. But that has absolutely disrupted the video content environment. YouTube Shorts didn't exist prior to TikTok. It's not to say that YouTube short form would not come at any point, but now that's with YouTube a channel that has over 5 billion views a day, and that just didn't exist prior to that. So I think the real key thing is not being able to spot what's coming around the corner and how something can so radically change it, like a new platform or a new format. And the second thing I think we heard a little bit from the previous panel as well is obviously the introduction of AI and how that's going to probably impact things as well. And I would see that as having 2 primary, I suppose, impacts on the industry. One, it's going to be able to create new content from scratch, stuff that you didn't have at all. And it's also going to make the creative assets you have adaptable and applicable across all formats a lot more easily as well. So 1, getting stuff you weren't getting at all, and 2, getting more bang for your buck for the creatives you are actually doing as well. And why does this affect travel in particular? Why is this so specific and so important to a sector like the travel industry? I think that's really, there's no industry better placed that has more of a attractive, experiential type product, right? Like we dream of going on holiday, we dream of going and staying places. And if you can articulate that experience quite clearly, concisely, in short form, in long form, but across various different formats and channels, then that's where you're going to generate brand loyalty, it's where you're going to get new customers, and it's where you're going to grow your brand exponentially as well. So, by getting that right, it can be the difference between massive growth and just general growth, right? So I think it's something we really, really need to invest in to make sure, you people know about you and you can run campaigns. And like I say, that's not exclusive to short format, but if you're not there, then you're highly likely missing a huge opportunity to grab attention of customers and engage with the people that want to come and either travel with your brand, stay at your brands, whatever it may be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some great points there. It is a lot about branding and videos. That perfect format for travel, especially. It's so visual, isn't it? So yeah, definitely. So that leads on quite well to Paula. So a lot of talk about short form. We all know TikTok now. So the huge growth, TikTok and short forms. So Paula, could you just give us a feel for what trends you're seeing at the moment in short form, and what might be coming in the pipeline, and what's worth some of the people in the audience thinking about and focusing on in the future?
Yeah, so I'll start with short form, and then I'll leave the hottest innovations on video for the end. So as Dan said, short form has been booming now for a few years. I actually worked for YouTube when we launched YouTube Shorts, and now I work for TikTok as head of creators for TikTok Live in the UK. So I think for travel brands and travel media, I think the most important thing I can tell you is you need to be there I am also a travel content creator, and I still see so many brands, hotels, companies in the travel industry that are not there. They're not there posting short form, and we know it works, right? I think have people here seen the Ryanair TikToks? Raise your hand if you've seen them. Like, they're wonderful, and that's a really good example of a travel brand that really managed to grab the playful, quirky audience that exists in TikTok to really build their brand. And so that's kind of for travel brands on short form, is be there, be consistent, make sure you have a team that is investing time on short form. Now, for creators, the trend that we're seeing now is the move to longer short form videos. So I'm talking about over 1 minute videos. This is because 50% of the users, of the time that users spend in TikTok is spent on 1 minute plus videos. And we've also just launched at TikTok the creativity program, which basically pays short form creators for their over 1 minute video views. So it's just another way that travel creators can earn money. And travel in particular really leads really well for videos that are slightly longer. The next thing that I'm going to talk about, the next innovation in the market, is TikTok Shop. Has anyone here purchased something from TikTok Shop while watching short form? Yay, I see some hands. Yeah, so I actually was watching a TikTok of someone, they weren't actually a creator, but they bought a bag on TikTok Shop that really fit really well under the seat of an airplane, because you know now low-cost airlines don't include carry-ons, so you need to be very smart how you pack. So I think this is going to be massive for the travel industry. I am also a travel blogger, and I earn revenue from affiliate marketing. So I think the next stage for travel is to have affiliate marketing within short-form video. And I think travel companies, especially big travel companies, really need to keep an eye on this trend and be there on TikTok to promote their products. And why not like promote tours, promote hotels, and that is a win for the travel company, but also a win for the creator, who can earn commission from actually promoting that tour, that hotel, that travel product in their short form. And then the last innovation, which I think if both creators and brands can really capitalize on this one, is TikTok Live. Anyone here has watched TikTok Live? Yay. Yeah. So some of my travel content creator friends come to me and they're like, yeah, you should do TikTok Live. You can really grow your following if you start doing TikTok Live. This was before I actually worked on TikTok Live. And to talk a little bit more about TikTok Live, the way TikTok Live works for creators and the way creators can make a living from TikTok Live is users that really love the content creator, love their content, can recharge coins in the app and send virtual gifts to the creator that is going live on TikTok, that they receive in the form of diamonds. And the way I see this playing out for travel is, first of all, we have really few travel live creators today. So again, if you jump on this space as a travel creator or as a travel media company or a travel brand, you can really grab an audience that is underserved today. So if you enjoy watching travel content, there's currently not many travel content creators there, so it is a massive opportunity for you. And the way I see it playing out as a travel content creator, like for example, Ben, you're like a Maldives expert, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
when you go to your Maldives trip, you could go live, and those amazing backgrounds, like the unique, unusual backgrounds, play super well to get you on the For You page. And then you can be growing your following while also earning revenue. And then travel media companies, you could, or travel media brands. I even imagine like hotels having their staff going live, maybe 1 to 2 hours a day. And the key thing about live is you really build a connection with the audience. The people that are watching you, they're there, they're present, they're listening to you. Yeah. So it might generate like organic demand for your location. Yeah. They might form a bond with your hotel staff. So that's the last thing I want to leave you to is like start exploring these new content formats on video.
Yeah, it's really key about live. The few times I have gone live, you really feel that engagement from the audience. They're literally there on your phone, sending you answers, questions, likes, and all. And yeah, and I think for travel companies, you don't have to just think that it's an influencer who has to do that or content creator. You can have staff go live and things. Yeah, so I guess that leads quite nicely onto you, Alexandra. So yeah, how have you seen your travel clients, your hotels and tourism boards using looking at video and the move from, say, traditional print and and press and media to now using more video, digital creators, content creators, and yeah, how do you see that mix and that kind of strategy playing out with your clients?
Yeah, so I would say I think it's really interesting what Paula was saying about getting the hotel teams involved, because I think sometimes from our clients' perspective, there's a hesitancy to kind of dive in and try new things because it's unexplored, they're not sure. So I would say I think a lot of people are doing video very well, but I think one of the hesitations is perhaps which platform to use. So sometimes people are like, do we use TikTok? Do we use Google? Do we use YouTube? Kind of where do we even start with this? Especially if you have a small team or you don't have somebody within your team who's dedicated to understanding the video side of things. And I think the key takeaway from me, linking back into what the other panelists have said, is successful storytelling really evokes emotion in the people that you're looking to connect with, so whether that's before they visit the destination, whether that's during the destination. And I think that filters through whether you're looking at user-generated content for people who are visiting, whether that's using influencers to create content for you, or whether that's yourselves as in-house teams, destinations and hotels creating that content. I think it's really important to think, who are you trying to connect with? Is it a real family destination? Because families react incredibly well to video content. So in general, video is hugely successful. So there's data that shows that it's 1,000 times more impactful than text and image combined. So rather than investing time in perhaps Instagram, which is one of, obviously you can do video on Instagram now, but historically, looking at that, it was pictures, it was imagery, it was text. And I think these days, video is really the key to successful marketing. So I would say, looking at how are you interacting with influencers? What are you asking them to do? Are you giving them the freedom to create that content themselves? Because I think another hesitation is sometimes, you might have a brand story to tell and you want to tell it through a certain lens, but sometimes having fun, trying something new, trying a TikTok live that, you may not have ever, given the team. You might have somebody super charismatic. We were saying before about how some of the most amazing people that we've met in hotels have been the doorman or the barman or someone who you really connect with, an incredible guide. So I think it's kind of harnessing the power of those people to really kind of have fun with it, enjoy it. And, in terms of cool video content, that this isn't alive, but for example, Visit Switzerland did an amazing video, where it's, I've forgotten people's names, like Roger Federer on a train going through Switzerland, and it's like a really fun, engaging, and it's typically Swiss, but it's also fun and enlightening. And I think it's how do you harness the power of staying true to your brands, because one of the other things that I would say is, and a question that we get asked very often is, there are so many trends on TikTok, that's really how engagement grows sometimes, is jumping on those trends. And I think that's great if that's right for you and your brand and your destination, or for you as a content creator, but also be super careful about how you do that, because it might not be the engagement that you want. So I think having, a considered approach, but also being spontaneous, having fun with it, and kind of really just, having a really strong think about who your audience is beforehand, and how those videos, whether it's short or long form, are going to be successful. And I think there's a place for both. I think short form is amazing, and you can have a lot of fun with it. And I think it's an amazing hook. It's actually super interesting to hear you say that people are spending longer on TikTok, because the last data that I read, it was like you have 3 seconds to, grab that attention from a user in short form, which is literally nothing, is it? 3 seconds. So, but we found with our travel clients that, mixing the two together, so having those short kind of almost clickbait videos linking through to the more detailed content where you can storytell, you can talk about your sustainable aspects, you can talk about what's really important to the people who are traveling with you, or really important to you as a content creator. So that was great to hear that there's even more interaction happening.
Yeah, so I think to that point, like obviously having a hook to your audience on the first 3 seconds, it's super important, even if your video is more than a minute long, because you need to make them watch your 1 minute long video. And I wanted to kind of like bring all the examples together with like an example of a creator that is really successful at TikTok and is leveraging all content formats. So her name is Evelyn Edwards. She specializes on castles, mostly across the UK, but sometimes abroad as well. So she's the castle lady. And she actually posts videos that are around maybe a minute, 6 minutes long, and they have millions of views.
Yeah.
And she, as a creator, she earns a revenue from the creativity program, so basically the views she gets on her short form. But she also goes live a couple of times a week. She actually travels to a castle location, gets out of the car, takes out her phone, and she takes her viewers with our, we have a camera feature where her face is shown, but actually the scenery is on the taking most of the screen. And that's another revenue channel for her. The gifts that she gets during the live, and also subscriptions, right? Because subscriptions is another great way for you as a creator to have a consistent income.
And it's kind of putting together all those different platforms and streams of income as well, isn't it? And putting it together and looking at your kind of funnel of content, short form leading into long form. Yeah, and in the interest of time, just wanted to finish, ask Dan a question, and maybe we have time for one question after that. Dan, how do you see, sort of responding to some of those thoughts there, and how's the best way to sort of link through from short form, top of the funnel, discovery 3 to 1 minute sort of long videos into, blogs and longer form video and kind of educational further down the funnel content?
Yeah.
Search intent driven, or people who are much more committed to the sale?
That's absolutely, and it's a really good question, and I'm glad you've asked it, because it's, the discovery space, that upper funnel activity is probably where the most innovation and the most growth potential is, I think, still at the moment. Search is not going to radically change, I don't think, in the years to come, despite AI coming along. So where can we influence more? Where can we grab more eyeballs and impact decision making for whatever the product, but travel in particular, right? And so certainly, I think a big direction of travel for Google's products in particular is influencing that middle space, and that's from where you interact on Gmail, it's when you browse the internet generally, but there's lots of opportunity for visual content and increasingly more video-focused content in particular. And as I kind of mentioned before, travel is the best placed industry for that, I think, because it's such a visual and attractive product. And, I suppose just to kind of, I'd love to hear it from Paula, because I think it's the key thing from a previous panel I did with Alex, but it's about being present, it's about being authentic, and about being consistent. And if you can do those things and do that full funnel from the top right down to the bottom, then it's a no-brainer when you're actually going to search to book something, right? You've already made the decision by seeing really engaging, really attractive content that you've maybe wanted to go and try for months and months because you're quite bought into the brand at the time. Maybe you've watched some live content from the place as well, and you really actually want to go and sort of meet these people and experience this thing. So I think, for the people in this room in particular, where is the opportunity? It is in that video space, and it is in that upper funnel, and that's where you can grow your business, I think, sustainably in the long term and more effectively. So that's the innovation as I see it. So yeah, if you're not doing it, I'd say get involved and give it a try. There's lots of ways, and there's not many ways to get it wrong.
Definitely. I'm afraid we're getting a bit short on time, so we could probably talk about this for another 2 hours. But yeah, I think that's it. It's storytelling across all the platforms, but also the platforms that appeal and make most sense for your brand or your company or your creative. So we might have time for one quick question. Has anyone in the crowd got a question? We've got one over there. Have we got a mic? Yeah, there's a mic coming. Lady in the blue behind you. So yes, one quick question, and
morning.
For anyone or all of us. Or
Is there an AI that you recommend that people that are starting out content creating could help to boost their SEO?
I've got too much of a vested interest, I think, in that question, so I'll let the panel defer there.
Yeah, any thoughts on on that question?
Or even just boosting in organically, but is there a way to help us to learn how to boost it organically? And maybe that's using Google or whatever it is, but is there a way that we can be learning how to do that for those of us who are not necessarily very tech savvy?
Would it be something about search intent, would you say? Like find out what your customer is searching for, what they want to see, and create your content to answer their thoughts from you too?
I wouldn't know if there's an AI tool that you can use to help you on SEO. I'm pretty sure there is. I think that's probably going to be more helpful, like on YouTube. I think there's many tools available, and I'm sure there's so many AI tools, but it would need a quick research from you to find out.
Yeah.
I would also just say in general, I think like TikTok is a great place to start because you don't have to have a huge following. So it's not an AI tool, but I'd say if you're a new content creator who's trying out content, you know, there are people who have very, very few followers on TikTok who go viral. So not AI, but I would say if you're looking for a platform to start playing around with that, you know, perhaps with kind of the, you know, the content that you want to put forward, that would be a good place to start. But I'm unfortunately not an expert on AI in that space, so I wouldn't feel confident kind of commenting on that. But I'd just say, yeah, have fun with it. And I'm sure there's somebody here today at WTM who'd be able to help you on the AI side. Yeah,
and I think that's a really good point to finish on. Have fun with it, really. You've got to do what is genuine and authentic to you. You know, you hear those words bandied about a lot, but it is, got to do what's comfortable for you and what people are going to enjoy.
And going for it. Going for it is the most important thing.
Yeah. So I'm afraid we're up on time, but thank you so much to all of the panel members. I think they'll be around at the back or outside for a bit if you have any questions. But thank you all for your time. And Frank is up next with our talk number 3. So thank you very much.